Hello and welcome to the Cold Coffee Club, a podcast brought to you by Houston Moms. We're here to give you a little bit of that mom-to-mom connection, fun, and conversation amidst all the chaos. Join us as we take a break from doing all the things and explore the wide spectrum of this crazy motherhood role. We'll interview fun guests, talk about cool grown-up topics, laugh, share, and grow together. So go ahead, reheat that coffee, and put your feet up. Here we go.
Good morning. Welcome to the Cold Coffee Club. Ashley here, and we have a guest co-host. We have Monica here, who is one of our Houston Moms contributors. Welcome, Monica. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for having me today. So I'm Monica. I just started writing for the Houston Moms Collaborative. Probably, I want to say the end of the spring, early summer. And it's been a lot of fun. I live in Katy on the west side of town, and basically it's me and my husband. I have three lovely children, lovely spawns, and Rocco, our dog. My oldest is out of the house. He is at UT Tyler, a sophomore there, and then the middle child is Kendall, the girl. She's 15, and then I have Maddox, who is 11, the baby, the one who can pretty much do no wrong.
Right.
No wrong in my eyes, right? The youngest can get away with everything. I was the youngest in my family, so we can relate. Me and him, we can relate.
And tell us what you like to do for fun. How do you stay busy other than kiddos?
It sounds, people say, oh, I like to exercise. I do like to work out for fun. Now, I'm not saying I'm crazy, workout bicep woman. Sometimes I just do a quick 20 minutes of like some sit-ups or push-ups, or like 20 minutes on the pre-core. And I don't know, it just clears my head. Maybe it gets like the endorphins going. So I do like to exercise. I mean, not all the time, don't get me wrong. So I'll do that. And I like to listen to a lot of podcasts. I do like to read a lot and write, obviously, and cook. I do like to cook.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, hopefully you will share a few recipes or something with us on the blog while you're on
Yeah,
our team.
I'll build that confidence. If I do, I got some up my sleeve.
Yeah, that's awesome. Alrighty, so for starters, let's spill some tea. So do you have a couple wins and fails for us this week?
I do. So one win, which is a small win, and again, I'm sure everyone understands that, for the most part, my day revolves around, I do work from home, so I have, a job and I'm working, and it's pretty quiet though. I mean, that's pretty uneventful, right?
Yeah.
So the eventful part of the day happens when, 2:00, 3:00, kids come home, and I'm thinking about all my wins, and they pretty much all revolved around them. So I'm like, I can't do that, right? I got to separate myself from that. So I think my win was, and it's a small win, but I mean, it still is. I had coffee with a dear friend of mine who had moved. She was my neighbor. She was right next door. So we used to go and have coffee and walk, and she was like my therapist, and it was just great. So she moved to Bastrop, and she comes back to Katy every once in a while. So we met up and had coffee, and to me, that's a win. That was a nice one. We was just, quiet time, just me and her, and we got to catch up. So, and then for the fail, this was actually last week. I just kind of got a little lax or whatever, and there was a college fair over at the Merrill Center. And normally I'm all up on it and everything, but like we had no events that day. There was no practice. There was nothing going on. We were just home, and I was cooking dinner, and I looked at my reminders, and I'm like, she's a sophomore, it can wait. We're already talking about college. I know she's college. I'm like, you know what? We'll hit the next one. And then like 9:00, she's like, Mom, wasn't the college fair tonight? I'm like, yeah, but you were kind of restless. She's like, well, I kind of wanted to go. I'm like, so that was the fail. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah.
What do you got?
So I have two wins. I have no fails as of right now, knock on wood, I'm so proud of life in general right now. I'm like, I'm crushing it. So like you, I got to reconnect with some old friends. So Jenny, our previous co-host, she was in the area, and then Anne, who used to be with Houston Moms as well, she actually moved to oh gosh, where is she? That it's east. I don't remember what it's
There we
called,
go.
but the next big city, like far east. I forget what it's called.
Bullshare.
No.
Bullshare. Oh, okay.
No. Like way away from
Oh,
Houston,
okay.
like
All
miles.
right.
But still in Texas. I forget where she lives now. She was in town. And then Brittany Brownlee, who was a previous contributor with Houston Moms, and Joy Bailey Green is a previous contributor. We all got to get together for lunch last week, which never happens, ever. Yeah. And the planets all just aligned, and we all got to get together and chit chat.
That's
and
awesome.
Just talk about nonsense and what's going on in our lives. And it was such a refreshing and like recharging kind of experience. It's just like, we needed this. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. And we all had a few drinks and lots of laughs, and it was the best thing ever. So that got me through the rest of the week. I was like, my kids are driving me crazy. Thank goodness for you people. And then also I've been wanting to become a doula for years. I've been mulling it over for the longest time. You know, I feel like our birthing stories and our experiences kind of affect us in ways that a lot of us didn't realize they were going to affect us. And my first child was not the birthing experience I had hoped for at all. And it was, I don't want to say traumatizing. I don't think it was quite that, but it just didn't leave me sitting well initially. And my second two were much better. But I realized I didn't have a knowledgeable advocate and someone to be there for me and support me and have
someone
my back,
other than a doctor or a nurse.
Right, exactly. And my doctor at that time, I did not feel was really on my side. It was more of a business transaction than like this is my life and this is my experience. And of course, my husband at the time was like, I don't know, just have the baby. I don't know what we do. The doctor said do this. And I'm like,
you guys have been doing it for years.
Right. He's like, whatever, you know what to do. And I'm like, I really don't though, but thank you. And so I really looked into what that means to be kind of an advocate and like that cheerleader for birthing women and birthing families. And so I really started looking into it, and I officially started my journey toward becoming a certified doula last week. And I've already learned so much, and I have a coach who's, helping me get the ball rolling and is there for support. And I'm just so excited for the entire experience. She's like, yeah, you're gonna, go to a hospital and, be there for a few births and all this stuff. And I'm like, I love all of this. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you sound excited. Boy, that's awesome. Let's talk about pursuing your passion. Now, I hope to read something about that down the line.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking that's an experience that you got to write about for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so excited. So it's going to be great. So, cream and sugar. I have a cream and sugar for this week that I am so excited to share about. So I work for a therapy clinic, and I got to do a retreat with our staff where we had this like meditation guru come and hang out with us and really just challenge us to relax, release, recharge. And it was very, it was unorthodox for me. So the initial activity he had us do was partner up. And we stared into our partner's eyes without speaking for 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Like I was having a panic attack. I was trying to contain it, but I was like, oh my gosh. And it was, in retrospect, it was such an interesting experience. And I'm really glad it happened. I'm really glad we got to do this. And then he did what is called a sound bath. And so we're all laying down on yoga mats, and
I have heard of those.
Yes. He's playing these instruments, and it's just really calming. And it's like the sounds are just like reverberating off the walls. It was insanely powerful. And like, again, this is not something I would have like sought out, but
Yeah.
I'm so glad I experienced it. And I don't know what his first name is. All of his stuff is on Instagram. You can find him on Instagram at Union is Creation. Again, I don't remember his name, and he doesn't really like openly put all his information there,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
he does so many different like sound meditations in the cisterns over by Buffalo Bayou. He's doing a mindfulness retreat coming up in November, and it includes like a sweat lodge and breath work, a sound bath, an ice plunge, all kinds of incredible things. He often does yoga at Discovery Green. So yeah,
Oh,
definitely
okay.
follow him on Instagram and just see what's out there. Again, it's different, but I feel like there's something to it where it's like, yeah, but I kind of just feel better, even though it was really uncomfortable. I feel really
Yeah.
good afterward. Um, so definitely worth checking out and just kind of seeing. And I haven't looked at it just yet, but he let us know that he has recordings of some of his sound baths online,
Ooh.
and so you can
Oh,
just like
wow.
play them in your house and just kind of just zen out a little
Yeah.
bit. I feel like as moms, we don't have many opportunities to just like,
No.
I'm not even here. Just let me be. I'm just chilling. We have very few opportunities. I mean, your kids are older, so maybe
Yeah.
you have a few more opportunities.
Yeah. Well, you see the difference. You feel the difference, but then you fill that time with something else for whatever reason. But this to take that time out to sit and just listen to something, because also too, when we have lots of time sometimes, or even like a few minutes, we'll pick up a phone. I'll pick up
Yes.
a phone, right? I'll
Yes.
pick up my phone and or plan, or sometimes the mind's always working, but doing something like that, yeah, you're forced to kind
Yeah.
of relax and get out of your head, and then I bet you do feel the effects way afterwards. You're probably so calm and chill. It's like,
Yeah.
what did I do today? It's like, oh, I had a sound bath today.
Exactly. It's amazing. And yeah, bringing up the phone situation, I have noticed that like my brain is so full of stuff throughout the day, and when I have a moment for it to not be full of stuff, I just fill it up with more stuff. And I'm
Yeah,
like, what are
cram
we
more stuff
doing?
in there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm listening to podcasts are great, obviously, but
yeah,
sometimes it's like okay to just like sit in like quiet noise and kind of
yes, yeah.
relax and not be
Hmm.
inputting more info into your brain. So just a thought, but
Well,
definitely
that is
check him out.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Union is Creation on Instagram, and just kind of peruse. It's interesting, and he has a whole lot to offer, a whole lot of information. So definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
All right, so today's episode, we are focusing not just on Halloween, but Halloween safety. It's Halloween is one of the best times of year. I love Halloween. I love trick or treating.
Yeah.
We're going costume shopping today, which is super late for us, but we're doing it anyway.
You see what though? I always feel like sometimes you have to go late. I don't know. My kids would always change their mind, right? They would say,
Exactly.
then one day is this, then next week is this. So we would always go a little bit on the later side,
That
but
makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah. Or they want to wear their costume. They're like, can I just wear it a few times? Like, maybe it is good to wait till the last minute so you don't get
Yeah.
to try it on and play in it and then tear it.
Yeah.
So we're going to share a few Halloween tips that we have in mind, things to kind of keep in mind to keep your families safe. So, do you have a tip that you want to share with us first?
I think the overall thing is, as I was writing down and thinking about, past Halloweens, and I do love Halloween. And I feel like it's like the kickoff of the holiday season, right? You got Halloween, you got your Thanksgiving, you got your Christmas. Now with Thanksgiving, you have a whole Thanksgiving break. I feel like with Thanksgiving, you kind of celebrate that holiday for like a week. You got Christmas, people celebrate Christmas, for like 2 months, right? Halloween, you celebrate in that window when you come home, right? When the kids come home, or if it's a Saturday, whatever, it's that kind of little window. Maybe you do a trunk or treat the day before, but so in my experience, if I kept it simple, that was the best way to make sure everything was safe in plan. But off the top of my head, I would say, we can get to the planning, but um, going out so many years uh, in the neighborhood, and I'm just kind of just speaking from my experience, going in like a nice, quiet neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Um, the the one main thing that always happens, and it's maybe not a big deal, but it can really ruin the Halloween for the kid is, and it always happens, they run. It's the running.
Yeah.
Of course. And they're all going to run. They're going to run from house to house. They're on the sidewalk. So, you don't have to worry too much about the cars at this time. So but they're running and they're running and it's dark. And they're wearing a long costume that they're going to trip on. The, Little Mermaid dress, or, the long sleeved Scream guy, right? He's going to trip and fall. And then what happens? All the candy spills out of their pumpkin bucket. And it's, oh my God, I can't believe it. Meanwhile, the whole time I'm running, don't run. So I would say so to try to take care of that as much as possible, pick a costume that they're not going to trip on. Definitely make sure, even if the costume comes with cool shoes or whatever, maybe just wear sneakers or Crocs or whatever they're used to wearing. It's for that really 1 hour, maybe 2 hours at most at night. So I would say do the best to have a costume that they can walk in so that they don't trip. And then, you know, try to have everyone together or walk fast. You're not going to prevent kids from running. I mean, they're going to be excited and run. And maybe it'll take that one trip and fall that, then they won't do it ever again. And, you're constantly yelling at them, don't run, but maybe have a big talk with them that before we go out, get everyone together in your house, not outside, in the house,
Yep.
in the foyer, right before you go out the door, say, look, this is what's going to happen if you run. And let them know that if you run, they're going to fall down, but let them know their candy is going to be gone. And that might help because I've seen it. The candy, all of it spills. And he's like, oh, nah, even though it's got wrappers on, it's now you can't eat it anyway.
Right.
But so it's a small thing, but to me, that is the most common, thing that can happen. So dress appropriately, have the nice, good talk, and, do the best you can to corral them while you're out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of I get very anxious during Halloween because it's getting dark and it's like keeping track of everyone. So one of the things I love to do is get those little light up bracelets that just like flicker. And so each one of my kiddos, I'm like, I don't care if it doesn't match your costume. You are putting one on so I can see you. I can tell like, oh, yeah, that blinking light right there is my kid. Okay, got it. Putting kind of those reflective stickers on their bags or their buckets just so that it's easier to see them. Cars can see them easier. Sticking with a group is really an awesome thing. And my kiddos are younger. My oldest is 11, my youngest is 6, and my middle is 8. And so kind of joining teams with older kids here and there is actually really helpful. So, some middle school or even high school kids who are willing to help out and, let's go together and just help keep everyone wrangled. I love that. And I appreciate that because it makes me less stressed out. Also, one thing that a lot of people don't always think about is, some houses want to be extra cool and they have, like real candles or real flames somewhere around their house or outside their house. And flame retardant costumes are a must. Like I am always just petrified. I'm this way about like pajamas. A lot of pajamas are made with like polyester and they're super flammable. And it took me seeing one video of like, look how fast this can start on fire. And I'm like, oh, done. We're done with polyester. Like it just makes me nervous. And so just kind of paying attention to what the costumes are made of. I know it's fun and it's one night, but also like we always recycle our costumes. We have a costume trunk where they'll just play dress up all year long. And I'm like, okay, so even if it were just one night, that's not really a risk I want to take. But the fact that we're going to wear it all year, let's just make sure it's made of decent material so we don't have a terrible situation on our hands.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then of course, we all check our candy for our kids. I'm more so picking out the ones that are for me, not really, I'm checking, but also like this one's mine. So just paying attention. The world is crazy. And we try to stick with like houses that we know, but also it's just
Yeah.
like the kids want to keep going. And I'm like, I get it. Okay, we can go to this house that we don't really know, but we're checking all the candy. And I have been the type where a lot of times I will buy candy just for my kids, buy different variety packs, let them trick or treat. But sometimes we don't keep that candy. Sometimes I'll either put that in the bucket to go out to other kids, or we'll donate it or something. And I will give my kids the candy that came from the store that I bought. Yeah. Just because, you know, I am not ashamed to admit I'm slightly paranoid.
Yeah.
I'm slightly afraid of things. I am a type 6 through and through and through. I am a planner and like, that looks suspicious. I don't like it. Like, I'm very much like that. So,
hey,
also,
that works. That works.
Yeah. And I've learned with my kids, they don't handle masks very well. They have the hardest time seeing, and I literally watch them run into trees. I'm like, baby, where were you looking? And they're like, I was looking this way. I'm like, you okay. Okay. So we steer kind of clear of masks. And if you notice that your kiddo has a hard time wearing a mask and not running into things, maybe go with face paint or something. That's a better alternative route, because I'm telling you, if they're not looking and they're not seeing what's going on, I've seen these elaborate house decorations where they have like cords through the yard and they have like all kinds of stuff in the yard. And
an obstacle course to go get a Hershey's.
Your kid just face plants on the driveway or something. That's awful. So if you're noticing that your kiddo cannot handle masks, go with face paint instead.
Yeah, that is a great idea, to use the face paint, and they might like that better. And then two, lots of times you just keep them close, and sometimes they're like, oh yeah, well, in the middle they'll just take it off themselves, be like, I don't like this mask, I can't see. And you kind of hoping for that. One of the other things, just some small basic stuff, is I always bring water and flashlights galore. I don't know why I never thought. I mean, this is common sense stuff that I guess maybe I lacked at the time, but that I've learned over the years. Again, you have that window. The kids come home from school. They're all hyped. They're all pumped. You got to feed them. You got to get them dressed. You got to get them the pre-party with their friends. There's always a little pre-party or something going on. And then we go out at 7. We try to go out at sunset, pretty much in our neighborhood. And I think in general, no one really goes out when it's still daylight out, right? So you got to get all that, you got to squeeze all that stuff in before. And that's, I would get anxiety. I would get anxious because I had 3 at the time, right? I had to get them all dressed. I had to get the makeup on. I had to do all that stuff. So that's where the planning comes in, where I would almost go backwards. Okay, if we're out at 7, okay, then that means I'm going to start to get them dressed at 6. That means we're going to eat at 5:30, right? You do that. And then that would make for a smoother time. And again, when it's smoother and you're in control of things, then you tend to not rush and, forget something and then something bad happens. But so bring water, lots of flashlights. Again, I like the glow sticks. I definitely like that. And that helps. But I would go out and I'd be like, I couldn't see. I see all these smart moms and dads, with flashlights. I'm like, oh, maybe I should bring a flashlight. Wow. And there's little cute ones. There's big ones, like flashlight. So simple.
Yeah.
So flashlight, water. Oh, and maybe even, a couple little Band-Aids and some hand sanitizer. Right? We're all about the hand sanitizer, because they're going to want to eat a piece of candy on the way or whatever. So sure, go ahead. Then squirt, wash them hands up. And that can be like a little like nylon bag. You know what I mean? It could be real light and go on your way. And so I found that helped a lot too. And then, but it's a whirlwind when they come home from school, all the way up till they're done trick-or-treating. You come home, you check the candy, and then it's like 10 o'clock at night and it's time to go to bed.
Right. Yeah. That part is always such a drag when Halloween's during the week. I'm like, everybody shut it down. Like, we can't, Mom. We're so like, oh gosh.
So let me ask, here's something I just thought of. I know in my neighborhood, but I'm going to do it, but in my neighborhood, someone decided to they're going to give out candy. We're going to have a Halloween like on the weekend before. Have you ever heard of this, or has your neighborhood done
I've
it?
heard of people trying to make that happen, and
Yeah.
everyone was very much like, no, we're doing it on
Yeah.
Halloween. I'm like, but why though?
So I mean, I guess because my kids are older, but even if they were younger, I'm like, I'm just gonna suck it up on that Halloween. Because then on Halloween, they're still gonna want to go out,
They
right?
are.
So
They
like,
are.
yeah. So I guess that's another, safety thing you can do. But then too, if you're having Halloween on an off day, nobody else knows. The drivers that are coming into your neighborhood, they don't know. They're not expecting trick-or-treaters. And we can go into now, we've been on the one side of the fence where you're walking your kid outside and you're walking. Now I drive my daughter to her friend's house and I'm like, oh my gosh. And now I'm on the other side of the wheel, right? And I'm like, and it's different. It's almost scarier, right?
Yes.
Because I see all these kids and you see them darting out and you see the dark costume, right?
Yep.
Because so obviously drive extra super duper slow. Everyone is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think parents really have to realize that children are twice as likely to get hit by a car and potentially killed on Halloween, more than any other day of the year. And so it's really something we have to pay attention to and make sure our kids are aware. Like, you have got to pay attention. You have got to make sure that, having reflective stuff, or, just making sure that you're visible, because it's dangerous out there. And these poor drivers, you have to pay attention as a driver, obviously, but especially on Halloween, please don't make this holiday, something tragic. So it's very important to stay aware, stay safe, make sure you're visible, stay on those sidewalks. I've seen so many kids just running down the street and I'm like, there's sidewalks here, just go over to the sidewalk. Or I don't understand that. And these are the same kids who are riding their bikes in the middle of the street, like on busy streets. I'm like, kid, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on. So just making sure to stay safe, having a fun holiday. We don't want it to be a dangerous holiday. We want
Right.
everyone to have
Exactly.
fun.
Yeah. And if you're driving slow and the person behind you is mad because you're driving slow, you can let them be mad,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Be
They can stay
mad.
mad. Yeah. But for the most part, I've found that, people are driving slower and then yeah, I just drive extra, extra slow everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's only for like it is pretty much for like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours,
Exactly.
7 to 10, right? Yeah. It's again such a short amount of time where so many things can go wrong. So yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
hmm
Yeah.
One thing, and not everyone can do this, but again, and you mentioned it too. Go in the neighborhood. Go where you know the people. So luckily, my neighborhood is like a big horseshoe, and there's so many houses in my horseshoe. We never have to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky like that. Now, when my kid goes to a friend's house or when they're going to trick or treat in another person's neighborhood and he's a little bit older, so that brings a whole new set of things. So there's a big talk, right? There's the talk before they go. Again, not outside, or maybe even the night before when they're calm and they're going to listen. This is like, I guess, for my 11-year-old, because he went to his friend. He was his first Halloween away from me like last year, and he wore that big dinosaur. I'm talking about, that inflatable. And I'm like, dude, it's like that is the classic. All the things I said,
I
oh, wear an
want one
easy
of those.
costume. Yeah. Now my kid's the one wearing that costume,
Of
right?
course.
He ended up like tying it around his waist, but so it's just like giving them that talk, even though you don't think they're listening, they're gonna grab some of those morsels and just tell them to stick with their friends. Again, stay close. It's always like stay close. If you got at least one buddy, the larger the group, I do believe the better. Um, and then the friend too is in a neighborhood close by, and their parent family and everything like that. So, but I did like the idea of going in. We know the neighbors, they know us, so it's that makes it all the more fun. And they like to see your kids all, oh, look at you, oh my goodness, and it's, I think it's fun for them, it's fun for everyone. So I that's one more thing I would add, if possible. Not everyone can do that.
Right. I just
Yeah.
thought of two other things, especially if you're a parent of smaller kids. A wagon is a lifesaver. Pop those babies in a wagon. they're just happy for the ride, and then,
Yeah.
let them out right at the door, go get your candy, get back in the wagon. It makes life so much easier, especially if you
Yes.
have like toddlers, trying to wrangle
Mm-hmm.
them. Just like, please stop. Like, just get over
Yeah.
here. So yeah, a
Yeah.
wagon is a lifesaver. And also,
And they'll like the wagon ride. Like they'll
yes,
like that. It'll
they're
be
so
so much fun for
happy.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also look into the local mall near you. If you're not really up for that outside experience, I know a lot of malls will do on Halloween. Each store will give out candy as you're going through the mall. And that was a lifesaver when my oldest was really little. I was not in the mood to try to do this outside. And at the time we lived in Oklahoma, and I knew that their mall in our city did that. And he had a blast. And when he was little, I had just had my second. And so I'm carrying the baby, and he's just going store to store. And these people are dressed up and they're really enthusiastic. They're happy. You're in a contained area. It was a lifesaver. So my kid got the whole Halloween experience, but I was so much less stressed out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. And I'm sure they're gonna have, I'm sure that's in all the malls,
Yeah.
in and around Houston, that they're having something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, have a safe and happy Halloween, everybody. Enjoy, and I hope that some of these tips are helpful to you. All right, so moving on to our house blends. So we have two posts on the Houston Moms site that are, I'm loving them. So the first one, this caught me off guard. I was like, oh, y'all are brilliant. So the first one is last minute Taylor Swift inspired Halloween costumes. Y'all, you Swifties are precious. I love y'all. Y'all make the world so great. It's so sweet. Check out this post by Bethany. Very cute, very creative, and I love that. Swifties they're solid. They will come up with Taylor Swift Halloween costumes. They'll come up with anything, and I love it, and I think it's really cute.
Yeah, I'm
Do
sure
you
we'll
want?
see a lot of those coming out
Oh,
the woodwork this Halloween.
I'm sure. I bet you
Yeah.
there's gonna be like a lot of Taylor Swift and maybe like a few Beyonce costumes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that's the
just
thing. I would love I don't know if I got the the chutzpah, the moxie to pull off a Beyonce costume, but I would love to do that. Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
so fun.
Yeah. You see me coming a mile away with the hat and the spray, the
Love it.
glitter, and yeah, it would be an attention getter.
I
Yeah.
mean, you still have time. You
Yeah.
can make it happen.
Ooh, the
There's still
encouragement. Okay,
time.
I'm gonna bite on that, Ashley. I'm gonna post my pic.
You should. There's also another one by Brianna. This is 8 creative Halloween costumes from local moms. Now, these are super cute. These are fun, like kind of DIY costumes that can incorporate like mom and baby or mom and kiddo, mom and family. These are all so cute, so creative. Like every year I'm like, I'm gonna do like a family costume, and
Yeah.
every year October rolls around and I'm like, I'm not doing that. But
But so wait, do you not do it because you don't want to, or the family isn't quite on board with you?
it's just the amount of effort to get everyone on board
Yeah.
makes me
Yeah.
tired. And my
Yeah.
kids are they're all over the place. Like they're like, I want to be a Lego man. I want to be Naruto. They're all over, and like getting everyone to agree sounds like a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I
Yeah.
don't have
I
it.
agree. I agree. Yeah.
I might start, if I really buckled down and started planning like a family costume, I would have to start like November 1st for the next Halloween. I'd be like,
Yeah.
we gotta
Yeah.
get it together. But
Yeah.
but these costumes, if you have the energy and you have a willing family who's not gonna just complain about everything, I say go for these. These are so fun and so cute. Or especially if you have a baby who has no choice, just get in
Yeah.
this costume.
That's the time to do it. Yeah. Come on, let's go.
That sounds fun. Yeah. I remember one year when my middle was a baby, I had this like hand-me-down pumpkin costume, but because he was so like long and lanky, he looked like a carrot, and I was like, I guess we're going with carrot. Like, whatever.
Hey, that worked. That worked.
It worked. All right, we are going to wrap up with our see you later caffeinator, and Monica has something fun to share with us today. Go ahead, Monica.
I do. It's not that fun, but it'll make for your Halloween, your Houston Halloween, to be the best ever. If you know that right now they're predicting the weather, the high is going to be 73 on October 31st, and the low is going to be 55. So you might want to be a little bit warmer at night. If they're wearing a warm costume, you should be good. It did say a 40% chance of rain. So it said, partly cloudy in the morning and then, occasional showers in the afternoon, 40% chance, and then occasional showers in the evening. And sunset's going to be at 6:36.
Okay.
So again, that makes for a perfect 7 p.m., 6:45 time. Get out there. 1 hour, maybe two. Oh no, one hour, one hour, 1.5 hours. I know my kids would get tired. They'd be like, "I'm ready to go home." Like, yeah, let's go. But I always thought that was good to know what the weather's going to be like and when's going to be sunset.
Yep.
Then you're ready for your Halloween.
That is like the perfect temp. I would much rather be a little chilly than be hot on Halloween, because then I get grumpy when I'm sweaty. So
yeah, and that's not fun. That's not fun. It's nice when it's going to be a little chill. I don't think it's going to be windy. When the wind is bad. Yeah, I think it's going to, it'll probably be perfect. A perfect Houston Halloween. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And
no problem. Thank you.
You more often during the season. Everyone have a great week, and thank you for joining the Cold Coffee Club.
Thanks, Ashley.
You've been listening to the Cold Coffee Club, brought to you by Houston Moms. We wish you a fabulous week with your families and look forward to sharing many more cups of cold coffee with you.